The only way you can focus on the positivity in your life when you're going through trials and tribulations is accepting the negative energy for what it is. You are not always going to have control over everything, but what you do have control over is how you choose to feel. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to hold yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, then that means it's not in line, which means it's not for you, so don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. For the month of May, we have been going over and discussing how life is going to change and how life is going to go on. But for this video specifically, we're going to go over and discuss how you can stop focusing on the negative thoughts and the negative memories and the negative emotions and start to create new positive memories, new positive experiences, and how to just be positive overall, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and just certain things that you need to be aware of. So starting off the first disclaimer, positivity is a choice. Say it with me, put it in the comment section, put it in your notes. Positivity is a choice. You have to choose to be positive, and I'm speaking from experience. I choose to be positive because naturally I have been extremely blessed and extremely privileged to live a positive life. This is why I speak from experience and I recommend what has helped me along my healing journey. And I'm also here to motivate, inform, and educate you as a naturopathic physician for those of you who are new and for those of you returning. Like, I've had to choose to be positive despite my trials and tribulations. Now, of course, me being privileged and me being fortunate did factor into it, but even when I had moments where I wasn't as privileged, and even if you've never been privileged, you still have to make a decision, because in order to be privileged, you have to decide that you want better for yourself. So that's the first disclaimer. Despite your background, despite how you were raised, despite what you once taught and shown, you have to decide that if you no longer want to live in a certain life, if you no longer want to think a certain type of way, if you no longer want to witness or experience a reality that is not helping you or allowing you to be seen or the best version of yourself, that you don't want to, and that it's okay. You have to be okay with making decisions for yourself, and you have to be okay with making decisions that better you. So the second disclaimer is knowing that when you decide that you want positivity, you have to accept not everyone's going to agree with you. Not everyone's going to be in alignment with you. Not everyone may be willing to support you. Not everyone may be happy for you. That is something that I've learned at an early age in my life and that I've been experiencing my entire life. I cannot be disappointed when people do not support themselves and then they don't want to support me. I cannot be disappointed when people show me that they're not used to having nice things, so they treat me less of a person. That's the same thing with you. Once you realize that everyone may not be happy or is happy for themselves or happy for you, you don't have to be angry. You don't have to take it personal. You can you can observe, but you don't have to absorb it. You can recognize it for what it is, and you can create distance. You can still love them or like them if you choose to, but you cannot overextend yourself. You cannot go out your way to help people who don't help themselves. And that's the same thing with you. You have to decide that even though you witness certain things, even though you experience a certain life as a child and a teenager, and the trauma and the trials and tribulations that you've experienced in your past was valid and was real, but if you realize that it's causing stagnancy, if you realize it's delaying you, if you realize it's distracting you and disturbing you, you do have to be okay with knowing that everything is not for everybody and that what you focus on grows. So the more you can focus on positivity, once you decide that's what you want, you have to be able to make the necessary changes. And we're going to be talking about that in this video and in the future after this. Like, you have to be okay with having certain standards. I personally have very high standards because I created them and I can afford them. Are my standards, is my platform, is this account for everybody? No. Am I expecting everybody to be in alignment? No. But for those of you who are, this is why it's so important to take your notes, ask questions, like, and most importantly, engage and turn your notifications, okay? And be subscribed. You have to decide what you want. Not everybody wants the same things as you, and that's fine. So the third disclaimer, is knowing that once you decide that positivity is a choice and that you want to experience positivity, and you start cutting off the people and the places and things that are not positive, you start focusing on positive things. So you start watching on YouTube how to become positive, which I have over 1,100 plus videos to toot my own horn for you to engage with, for you to take notes with. This is why I created this platform. You have to start surrounding yourself with people that are positive. And how do you know someone's positive? How do they show up? What is their energy saying? Not what they look like, not what they smell like, which that is also important too, but how are they as a whole? And just because you are positive doesn't mean that you don't have negative thoughts, or that you haven't gone through anything, or that you're a perfect person. Like, that's fake. Being positive is just anything that's not draining you, that's not hurting you and harming you. So keep that in mind. Like, you have to be open-minded in order to deal with positive people, because it's like, when you're positive, yes, there could be a negative, there could be bad things, there could be certain things that nobody's perfect on, but you're choosing to look at the bright side. It's the perspective. Being positive is a perspective. But let's go the word really quickly. I'm getting so tongue twisted on what that means for some of you who may need a literal definition. So positive and positivity is an adjective, so it describes something. So once again, it's the consistency or characterized by the presence or the possession of qualities. So when somebody is positive, it says without having any possibility, without having any doubt. Positive could be an affirmation. Positive could be a result of an experiment. Positive could also be a noun. Positive could be anything you want it to be. So this is why it's so important to read the dictionary and just read in general. But overall, how we're using the word positive is like an adjective. We're describing it. So the fourth disclaimer is knowing that when you're surrounding yourself with positive people, this doesn't mean, like I said, that you're not going to deal with, some negativity, or you might not feel like a certain vibe. You have to learn how to have discernment. You have to realize, okay, is this channel making me feel positive, or is it making me feel negative? Like, you have to pay attention to how certain things make you feel in order for you to stop focusing on the negative. You have to realize, what I watch, does it make me feel bad about myself? Does it make me compare myself? Or does it motivate me? Does it uplift me? Does it make me feel seen? You have to be able to pay attention to how you feel. The only reason why you have negative thoughts and negative emotions is because you're not acknowledging how you feel. And if you haven't came up with solutions, and that's going to be part of our recommendations. In order for you to stop focusing on negative thoughts and negative memories, number one, when it comes to the recommendations, you have to acknowledge them for what they are. There's a reason why you feel mad. There's a reason why you feel angry. There's a reason why you feel upset. There's a reason why you feel envious. Until you're able to hold yourself accountable and say it with your chest and 10 toes down, you are going to feel the doubt. You're going to feel insecure. You're going to have these negative thoughts. You have to be able to own up to the negative thoughts. Now, just because you own up to them doesn't mean that you have to come into an agreement with them. A lot of you all have been programmed to think negatively and to believe negatively, and that's the only reason why you're experiencing these things. You have to realize that if you naturally are not a negative person and you're around people who are negative, subconsciously and psychologically, you will start to pick up on that energy, especially if you claim to be the chosen one or the black sheep or highly spiritual. Like, you could read the room. Not everyone has the gift of discernment. So you have to realize, once you're able to identify these negative thoughts, you need to ask yourself if they're true or false. And that's the second recommendation. You do need to start reading the room. You need to be able to identify, is this a negative thought that I actually experienced myself, or was this something that was projected onto me? So for a lot of people, when you grow up in dysfunction, when you grow up around narcissism, when you grow up around envy, when you grow up around people withholding support, subconsciously you will feel like there's something wrong with you. Like, you start to blame yourself. You will start to second guess yourself. You will start to question yourself, when in all actuality, it was never your thoughts. It was never your beliefs. It was the people that were around you. But because you weren't able to have a mind of your own, maybe you weren't mature enough to think for yourself, or maybe people thought they can control you or dictate how you do certain things, you wouldn't have known any better. Like, a lot of people, unfortunately, are predators, and they prey on people's innocence and naiveness and even ignorance. So you have to realize, like, was I being sabotaged? Did I have certain people try to control me? Did I have certain people try to withhold support? Do I genuinely feel this way? And I'm speaking from experience. Growing up, I've witnessed a lot of narcissistic, toxic people. Like, envious people, people who had low self-esteem, people who had control issues. So a lot of times they would try to project and deflect. And I've dealt with that like as a child. I dealt with that in school. I've dealt with that at work. I dealt with that in my immediate family. I even dealt with that with people trying to pursue me. And because I've always been who I was, it never fazed me and it never will. And the reason why is because I've always known who I was since itty bitty baby Ty, right? And as I've grown up, because I'm just me, okay? And I don't need to explain that right now. But for you, if you don't know who you are, and that's the third recommendation, you need to figure that out. Because in order for you to stop having the negative thoughts, once you realize if they're true or false, where they're coming from, why you feel the way you do, you then have to make a decision on who you are and what it is that you want. Because when you know what you want, you're not going to focus on anything else. So when you're focusing on positive thoughts and becoming a positive person and raising your vibration and becoming better, you do have to learn how to be intentional. Like, you cannot be so overly giving or always available to certain people, places, and things. Like, you do have to be selective. You do have to be guarded sometimes. You do have to be stuck up. Like, the people who are meant to have access to you, the people who are meant to be in your life, they will understand why. Like, people who are willing to get to know you. All the people who have made up in their mind about me or judge me or perceive me or try to project and deflect, first of all, I never wanted to be like them. I never wanted to be around them. We had nothing in common. And most importantly, they never got the time to get to know me. So I'm a type of person, I'm not explaining myself. I'm not jumping through hurdles. I'm not proving myself. If you've made up in your mind, which is delusional, without getting to know me, I'm going to let you stand in your delusion. Like, if people are not willing to have the capacity to understand why you think the way you do, why you feel the way you do, and accept you without judgment, because you're not always going to agree with everyone, they're not for you. And you have to realize that, like, all the people who thought they were going to project or deflect or were narcissistic or like rude, passive aggressive, shady, like sabotage, like I said, in my workplace, in my careers, or like relationships, I never took it personally, because like I said, I just have been blessed to know that what other people do has nothing to do with me. But just realizing, because what they are doing has nothing to do with me, that's not about me. Like, a lot of times we're not naturally negative people. Like, people are not taught to people are not naturally like haters. You have to be taught how to be a hater. You have to be shown hate in order to be a hater. And that's like with racism. People have been taught to be racist. People have been taught to be colorist. People have been shown how to make people feel some type of way. Same thing with envy. Like, it's not normal. Being a hater is not normal. Being racist is not normal. Being a colorist is not normal. Being a predator is not normal. The only reason why it's been normalized is because people are afraid to speak up, but not me. So you have to realize that when it comes with these negative thoughts, like, it's not for no reason. It's not always true, or it's not always about you. It could be, like I said, just based off of what you saw, what you've gone through. And when you go through trauma, a lot of times you think the negative thoughts belong to you. They don't have to belong to you. So that's the fourth recommendation, or fifth. I lost count. When you're identifying negative thoughts, and if you want to be in agreement with them or not, you need to start like calling it like it is in the moment. So when you're going through things, you need to ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Why am I triggered? Why am I challenged? Do I agree with this or not? And if you don't, start having standards. If you grew up and people were bullying you as a child or as a teenager, you need to be able to realize why they were bullying you, what you can do to hold yourself accountable, and what you're no longer going to tolerate. Same thing with me. I realized a lot of people, they have withheld support. A lot of people have gossip. A lot of people spread rumors. A lot of people have gotten me fired. A lot of people have picked other people before me. A lot of people, like, through passive, like, and I had to realize it's because I'm not even meant to be in the same room as you all. I'm not meant to be around people who are not themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to realize negativity and negative people love misery, and that's why people say misery loves company. So you have to be very mindful. Like I said, you never have to prove yourself to the people who are meant to get it. And honestly, you don't need to focus on negativity once you realize that it's not your issue and that you don't feel that way. And that's what I'm really just trying to say. Like, I am somebody who, I don't like to focus on negative energy, and I genuinely, like, wallah, mean that. Like, some people, they yap and they say certain things, their energy doesn't speak for themselves. The reason why I would trigger and challenge people is because they genuinely felt like they needed to be absorbed with the negative energy. They value what other people say, what they value, what other people think. I don't care, you guys. I come on here with a half freaking wig on. Makeup is old. Like, I've had this makeup on for maybe an hour. Like, these are my house clothes. Like, if I cared about people judging me, I would not have the confidence to post these videos. Like, I don't care about people talking about me on my platform. I'm not telling you to be here. Like, you're a weirdo. Get a life, okay? And for those of you who are not weirdos and you have a life, realize that, like, if people can't accept you for being you, it doesn't matter. It really does not matter. And that's the same thing with the negative thoughts. Like, once you realize where these thoughts are coming from, if they're true, and I keep re-saying that, and I keep reiterating that, because it's like, once you really, like, take some time to acknowledge what you've gone through, you'll realize you don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to focus on it, because what you focus on grows. The more you surround yourself with negative people, the more you're going to have negative thoughts. The more you believe in people and you don't know who you are, the more you're going to be confused. And anything that causes confusion is uncertain, and that's not going to help you. So that being said, let me know what you've gone through, how you've dealt with negative thoughts, how you choose to be positive. If you guys want a part 2, letting you know that, once again, just because you choose to be positive doesn't always mean you're not going to feel any type of way, or that you're not allowed to be sad or angry or mad, because there's this misconception that when you're positive, like, you don't snap or you don't react or respond. Like, there's been moments, like I said, I've been positive 98% of the time in my life. The 2% is when it's not that I wasn't positive, it's just sometimes I did have to let people know, like, just because I'm positive doesn't mean I won't say something to you directly to your face. Doesn't mean I won't get all up in the field, because sometimes you do need to let people know. And once you let them know one time, you need to remove yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have to work with people, because sometimes you don't get to control the negativity. Like, sometimes you have to work with people. Sometimes you have to go to school with people. Sometimes you have to live with people. And I'm speaking from experience. But that's just your friendly reminder that you're not meant to be in these environments forever. Like, do what you need to do. Like, no, you don't just allow people to talk down on you, or, like I said, get you out of character. But once you realize somebody is that way, like I said, instead of constantly going back and forth, allowing them to drain your energy or do all this unnecessary childish, because it's just really immature. Like I said, it's really not cute. You just realize, like, okay, this person needs help, and if they're not willing to learn and take notes, you can't help somebody who doesn't see anything wrong with what they do. And that's why it's so important to realize, like, do I feel this way, or is it them? And if it's not you, you have nothing to worry about. So like this video, share, comment, engage, follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description. If you're ready to book your service in your session and you want to talk about things specifically, let me know. If not, if you guys want me to go live talking about this, drop the word live in the comment section. But I love you. You're loved. You're not alone. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Peace.